Tonight, does Sweden's latest court ruling on Quran burning make it guilty of Islamophobia under the guise of freedom of expression? And Russia's new contract with voluntary fighters to battle in Ukrainian territories. We cover stories about the US's response on India's democratic health to a protest against transgender education, as denying a truce deal with Israel. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I am Catherine Bullock. Toronto police have asked residents to report a middle-aged woman if seen again in the west end of a Scarborough neighbourhood in Ontario. The news comes after the woman was seen verbally attacking a young Muslim girl in a park. The girl does not speak English and is on a visit to Canada to meet her aunt. The girl was on a swing on Friday evening when a middle-aged woman approached her and yelled that she get off. The girl's aunt told her niece to get off the swing. The aunt then told the woman that her niece was scared. At this, the woman yelled that the girl's aunt and her family should be scared. She said, "You are an invasive species. You do not belong here." She then shouted, "Go back, you filthy people." There was another family in the park who came to the girl and her aunt's defense. The woman continued her racist verbal attack and then left. While talking to Muslim News Canada, the girl's aunt says the incident has shaken her niece to the core. She says her niece could not go to the park the next day because of the trauma. The United States is getting ready for a visit from India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This includes praising India for its alleged healthy democracy. John Kirby, the coordinator for strategic communications at the National Security Council in the White House, told reporters at a recent press conference that India was a vibrant democracy. He said this after a Muslim journalist challenged Kirby about the health of India's democracy. Kirby replied that India's vibrant democracy could be seen by visiting the nation's capital. Kirby continued to say that India is a friend of the US. Kirby said friends never shy away from discussing crucial matters. Kirby said Modi's upcoming state visit would advance and strengthen the partnership between the two countries. He reiterated that India is a strong partner with the United States on many levels, including military cooperation. He said President Biden is looking forward to Modi's state visit. A Swedish appeals court has upheld today a lower court's decision to strike down a ban on Quran burning. The court says in a statement it upheld an administrative court ruling overturning a police decision to stop two demonstrations where protesters planned to burn the Quran, the Muslim holy book. The appeals court had said the police did not have legal grounds to block two Quran burning events. The news comes following a police decision in February not to grant permission to two Quran burning attempts, citing security concerns. This was after far-right Danish politician Rasmus Paludan had burned a copy of the Quran in January outside the Turkish embassy in Stockholm. The two individuals who wanted to stage provocative actions outside the Iraqi and Turkish embassies in Stockholm appealed the police's ban. The Stockholm Administrative Court reversed the ban in April, saying the security risks were not high enough to restrict the ability to demonstrate. Sweden has been trying to join the NATO alliance since last year, soon after the beginning of the Ukraine war. But longtime NATO member Turkey is objecting to Sweden joining. One reason is for what it calls Swedish tolerance for terrorist groups which threaten Turkey. The second is for Sweden's allowing provocative anti-Muslim and anti-Turkish actions under the pretext of freedom of expression. For more on the Chechen Special Forces story, please stay tuned. We will be back after a short break. Russia's defense ministry has signed a contract with Chechen special forces to fight its offensive in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine. The news comes after the chief of Russia's Wagner group of private mercenaries refused to sign the same contract. The new contract with the Akhmat group of Chechen forces brings them under the control of Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. The deals are part of a new Russian law aimed at controlling private armies fighting on Moscow's behalf in Ukraine. The order requires all volunteer units to sign contracts by July 1st. The contracts will provide volunteer fighters the same benefits as regular troops, as long as they agree to the rules of the defense contract. A commander of the Akhmat group hails the contract. He says his group has sent tens of thousands of volunteers to Ukraine in the past 15 months. A report by a Washington, D.C.-based think tank says Chechen fighters have operated in areas behind the front line. It says they have fought behind the scenes in Ukrainian cities such as Mariupol, Severodonetsk, and Lysychansk. However, earlier this month, fighting in Russia's Belgorod intensified. The Akhmat group likely has been ordered to take a leading role in the fighting in Ukraine. On the other hand, the Wagner chief has repeatedly criticized Russia's defense ministry by posting video tirades. He says Russia does not provide enough support to his troops in Ukraine. Russia's deputy chief of general staff says he hopes more volunteer units will follow the Chechen group's example. Canada's unemployment rate rose to 5.2% in May. This is a tiny 0.2 percentage point increase from the previous month. Statistics Canada said Friday the uptick is the first in the past 9 months. The country's unemployment rate remained unchanged at 5% for 5 consecutive months. May's increase is the first since August last year. The unemployment figure is higher than the market expectation of 5.1%. Statistics Canada says overall employment was almost unchanged in May, with a decline of 17,000 or 0.1%. Average hourly wages annually also increased in May by 5.1%. Hundreds of protesters this past Friday rallied against gender identity being taught in Ottawa schools. Activist Chris Elston organized the protest against what he calls gender ideology near 3 West End Ottawa schools. Parents concerned about true LGBTQ+ indoctrination joined the rally. Videos of children stomping on pride flags went viral on social media. The protesters were met with supporters of transgender rights. Community groups Horizon Ottawa and Community Solidarity Ottawa mobilized the counter-protest. Police have arrested 5 people in connection with the protests. However, they have not shared information about why the arrests were made. The Palestinian group Hamas has denied reports that it is holding talks in Egypt about a long-term truce with Israel. Delegations from Hamas and Islamic Jihad groups went last week to Egypt. They held talks with Egyptian officials in Cairo on developments in the Palestinian territories. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh also visited Egypt for talks with officials there. Several media reports said that the talks focused on reaching a long-term truce between Gaza-based Palestinian factions and also Israel. A Hamas spokesperson called the reports of long-term truce with Israel, quote, baseless and bare of truth. He says the Hamas delegation discussed the latest developments in the occupied territories with Egyptian officials. He says these developments are Israel's ongoing aggression in Jerusalem and the West Bank and violations of the sanctity of holy sites. He says the delegation also discussed Egypt's role in supporting the Palestinian people and their cause. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Health Ministry reports at least 33 Palestinians were killed and dozens injured, including several Islamic Jihad leaders in Israeli airstrikes last month on Gaza. Israel said the offensive was in response to rocket fire from Gaza. The violence came to an end on May 13th under an Egyptian brokered ceasefire. Thank you for watching. Sound Vision is a not-for-profit organisation. It produces our news. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada